We got a special guest today, Jose Ugarte from Council District Number 9. He's currently the Deputy Chief of Staff for Councilmember Kern D. Price, who's very infamous, by the way. And he is terming out, and this wonderful gentleman is putting out his, well, actually, he did already. He's running for that district to become the next council member for Council District 9. Jose, thank you so much for coming on. I think we're going to have an interesting conversation today. Tell us a little bit about yourself. How'd you get involved in politics? What made you run? What do you love about the city? And so on.
Thank you, Joe. Thanks for inviting me on. I got involved in politics because of my status. I was born in another country. I was born in Mexico, came when I was 4 years old. My parents brought me here to South LA, and they said, look, we're going to give back more to this country than we're taking in. So I grew up just having that behind me, make sure I got a good education. And when I was about 8 years old, Prop 187 came around. If you remember, Pete Wilson was the governor at the time. Yeah. Prop 187 basically banned kids that were undocumented from going to public schools. And I was out there marching. I didn't really know what it was. I was 7, 8 years old. I didn't know what that meant, but I was marching out there with my mom and my sister and my dad, and we're like, hey, F Pete Wilson, blah, blah, blah. And growing up, I remember that something was wrong with my status. 17 years old, I applied to college. I get into UCLA, and UCLA sends me an out-of-state bill. And I was like, what is this? So I go to the admissions office. I say, hey, what is this out-of-state bill? And they're like, oh, it's because you don't have a social security number. I was like, what's a social security number? I'm 17 years old, right? I didn't know what that meant. But at that point, I found out that I was not American, or so the government identified me as not American, even though English is my first language, even though I gave it my all. I've stayed away from any kind of police issues, always been a good student, always been good. But I realized that I was a Mexican or Mexican-American. Some paperwork that I followed up with, I basically became a resident right away within 6 months. But at that point, I realized, like, oh, man, this is not my country, or this country didn't allow me. This is the first time I felt that I was different. So I started focusing on what the problem was, which was, to me, was politics. Politicians as politicians were making laws that identified me as somebody else, even though I felt I was American. I knew English. I went to public schools here my whole life and here in LA. So I started getting involved more in politics, started realizing, okay, who's making these laws? Why are they go against me? Why did I have to pay out-of-state tuition? And I got involved. I started getting involved in the labor movement. I started getting involved with immigrant rights organizations. I started getting involved in political campaigns. And eventually I ended up working 10, 15 years later for a city council member, which I am now. City Councilman Kern Price represents South LA, the area that I live in, the area that I'm running in as well.
Hold on, you said you were born here?
I was born in Mexico.
You were born in Mexico.
Yeah.
How old were you when you immigrated here?
4 years old.
4 years old. So yeah, I guess English is your first language, you can say. You're going to be representing a very interesting district in LA. And I'm sorry to say, but you know it yourself as well. It's one of the, if not the poorest district in the city. You have a population of nearly 200,000 people. The median household income is less than $30,000. What is one way that you as a council member, but not only as a council member, as somebody who is going to be advocating for your constituents, how can you change that simple fact of increasing, the median household income, or, getting rid of homelessness, which is a massive, massive issue, or getting, rid of crime? I know you can't do it entirely. You can't, do it like Bukele, but how can you do it in a way that we can see a difference in that area? And I know that area very well. I used to have a warehouse over there on Manchester and Broadway by 89th Street. Oof. Yeah, and rough area, but everybody knew us kind of. We just used to walk up and down the street already like it was home turf, and I know exactly what goes on there. What can we do to fix that place?
The first thing, like you said, public safety. This area that I grew up in, I feel that that's where I want to raise my family in. I know some people are like, oh, Jose, you make enough money to move somewhere else, move out of the state, move at least out of the city. But I've never been the type of person to run away from anything. If I work here and now I want to represent the area, I really got to make sure that I better the area. So public safety is number one. And it doesn't mean like go and arrest everybody. Public safety means making sure the street lights are on, making sure potholes are filled, making sure trees are trimmed, make sure people feel safe in parks. So that means if there's a homeless encampment around a park or around a school, we got to get rid of it. Making sure, then also making sure our police officers are around. I've been advocating for more foot patrols, more bike patrols, more horse patrols that are coming to my district, more black and brown police officers that live around my district, more officers that speak Spanish because our district is about 80% Latino. It's everything you advocate for to better our community, just to make it feel it's safer. That's the number one thing. People got to feel safe. By making people feel safe, I think they go out more to the community, and the more they're out and about, walking to a local grocery store, walking to a local park, I think everybody kind of feels safe. And we don't have that yet. I think we're getting there, but we don't have that yet.
Is it difficult to allocate more police officers to your district?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you need a consensus from the rest of the council members, or you as a representative of your district can call up the chief and say, hey, chief, I need, 10 additional units?
You can do both, but you need 8 members out of the 15 to pass a budget for the police. So you need 8 members. I think the majority of the members just passed the budget last year that supported the full budget that the police wanted. But right now, LAPD has a problem hiring. A lot of officers haven't applied to LAPD like as normal. And it has to do with the job description. A lot of officers don't want to come to LA. And they're like, Jose, why would I work in Los Angeles where we deal with homelessness, we deal with people with criminal backgrounds that come to just different things like that we make them deal with, or they can go to work in Orange County, or they can go work in Riverside or other areas that are a little better than ours. So a lot of LAPD officers, a lot of officers that want to be LAPD, they don't apply anymore. So we're having a problem hiring right now.
How many patrol vehicles do you guys have in District 9?
I don't know the exact number, but I think I want to divide them. So we have a little under 10,000 officers. So once we get fully hired staff, then I think we'll be.
So and then you can ask, for the chief or get a consensus from the council to add more police officers to police the district.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And that's what I want to do. We started actually a program called Community Safety Partnership Program. One of our parks. We have a park in the middle of our district called South Park. It was the biggest park in our district, most underutilized park. Nobody used it. And we remodeled it. We put new basketball courts, new soccer fields, new football courts, baseball stadiums, everything that you can ask for, but it still wasn't used. So people are like, Jose, I don't want to go to the park. It's not safe. So we started a community safety partnership where we interviewed 10 officers and had them. I think we had over 100 different officers apply. They get an extra bonus on if they get hired. So they love to work at a park. We hired 10 of them. You ended up hiring 5 African-American, 5 Latinos, majority women, because they had some sort of connection to the park. They've been there for about 7 years. The park has totally changed now.
So hold on, they police the park?
Yeah, police the park.
24/7?
24/7.
Really?
And their job is not to arrest anybody or anything like that. Their job is to
make sure no crime happens.
So
you're telling me there are no gangs, no gang activities, no selling drugs, no, nothing crazy going on at the park?
There probably is. But according to the police officers that are walking around, they have moved that nuisance somewhere else. So I don't know if they're gone, but that park is safe enough for me to go play basketball, me to take my 2-year-old there to go play on swings. This park's safe enough for me. So I think it's safe enough for
because parks are usually designated for the elder population, families, and kids.
Yeah, right.
They go out there to spend their day. For instance, my grandfather used to go to a park in Glendale all the time. Or I take my kids to a park, to play at the playground. And you as a father or a mom, because that, sometimes or most of the time is at work, your wife wants to take your kids out. She wants to know, is it safe or is it not safe? And that's a massive problem in L.A. A lot of MacArthur Park, but it's, I drove by it the other day. I mean, it's impossible for anyone. And it's a beautiful site. It's a beautiful site. There's a little water frontage in front of the park. I mean, they can make that central part so beautiful. It's like right at the beginning of downtown.
If you take a pin and you put it in the middle of LA, you get MacArthur Park.
Yeah.
Of all of LA, you get MacArthur Park.
And that place is like one of the worst infested areas of homeless, gangs, drugs. I mean, you name it.
Everything.
Everything.
People think that was South LA. when they have pictures of that park, like, oh, look at South LA. Nope, it's not South LA.
Yeah.
Our park's actually cleaner than that.
How do you reduce homelessness in your district or just in general in LA?
The first thing is that we got to stop from growing. So my district touches city of Vernon, city of Huntington Park, city of Southgate, city of Linwood. And those cities have all made laws that ban homeless encampments and homeless RVs. So what happens is that there's a street, Alameda, that splits our two districts. And everybody's on our side, which is the west side of Alameda. You have RVs, you have homelessness just piled on. And when I drive around the area, a lot of those people are from those cities.
From Southgate, Vernon.
That they said, look, I can't sleep in those cities, so they're pushing me over here. Cudahy, Maywood, all those cities around. So they don't live in LA, but they're going to be part of our homeless count now because those cities have moved them into our cities. So we either need to get on board with those cities and ban RV parking, camper parking, and homeless encampments on our sidewalks, or we just let our city just get built higher and higher, which we can't. So I've always proposed, like, hey, especially those thoroughfares, because I don't think any other district has the same issues as me. Like, we're right next to a bunch of cities that did that. So if you drive along that street that I told you, Alameda, you see on one side it says no RV parking, no overnight RV parking. So what they're doing, they're just coming right over on my side. And my residents are like, Jose, why can't we just do the same thing they're doing? It doesn't make sense. So I want to do the same thing.
But again, in order for you to do that, you have to get a total consensus from the council.
Yes.
From the other council members.
From 8 of us.
What's the mayor's take on it?
I think hers is housing first. It's something that we've been working on for the last 7 years, housing first. So what that means is that if you see a homeless person or an RV person that's down on their luck, we got to supply housing for them. And that's the only way that we can get them off the street. But we pay for
how that happened.
Yes, it's impossible. We can't afford it anymore. We're in a $1 billion.
Besides the $1 billion deficit, which you were just about to say, we had about $520 million wasted on housing of homeless. That's why right now the mayor and most of the council members are being subpoenaed to a federal judge, right?
Right,
to
Judge Carter. Yeah.
To give answers of what happens. If that's not working, then what's the route?
So the route is mental health. To me, San Francisco's been doing it. Basically, to me, if you're homeless, you have a mental health problem. Like you're either an addict on something that you need help with, or you're just down on your luck. So I think you need to bring in mental health into the equation by far. You got to go and diagnose people and ask them, hey, what do you need? Do you have an addiction, drugs, alcohol? What is it? And we can't just fix it, because as soon as they're done with the program, they're going to be back on the street. And if they don't know, they're going to be back on the street sleeping again and go back to the addiction that they started. So I think we need to start looking into mental health issues and solutions to make sure that if someone's aggressive, someone has priors and they're sleeping on the street, you don't want to walk around them. You don't want them on the street. They need to find help ASAP.
And I assume most of those homeless people also have prior convictions that were released based on the previous zero bail policy. And that's another reason why they're out there. They're committing crimes, or they're doing drugs, or selling drugs. How would you put those people in mental health facilities?
You force them. This is. I think that we're at the point now where if someone has refused refused some sort of a temporary home that we've offered, refused help from any mental health services, and they're still being aggressive, they still have prior convictions, I think we need to make sure that they are permanently somewhere where they're going to receive the help that they need.
I just don't understand why we had to come to this point just to realize that. I mean, back then when I was growing up, and so were you, this was the motto. They're homeless, they're also human, they're just like me and you. They just had bad luck. So we have to let them live the way they want to live. And now we come to an agreement where, actually, yes, they are homeless. They may have had bad luck with their life due to poor, choices, or they had drug problems or mental health problems. And now we have so many homelesses. Now we have to force them, literally grab them out of the streets and either put them in jail or take them to a mental health facility. But this is another problem. We don't have enough mental health facilities.
Yeah, we don't. You got to open them up.
Especially in LA.
I know that the county started building some.
That's another problem. I mean, and how long is that going to take?
So most of our funding has gone to housing, and I think we got to transfer it over now to mental health facilities. That how we figured out housing is a solution, but if we had all the money in the world, yes, you build housing for everybody can live happy, but we don't. We're in $1 billion budget deficit. Like we said, we got to focus now on the problem where it is now. Mental health facilities, doctors, nurses that can diagnose people and say, hey, look, you need this, you need that. You can't be out on the streets anymore. It's just a public safety issue. I have a 2-year-old daughter. We go to a local park. I know a certain person that as he's at the park, he's just going to do something crazy. And he's either peeing on the wall or swinging a stick. I don't want my daughter to be there, and I don't expect anybody else's kids to be there. That type of person does not need to be on the street with us. It just doesn't.
Do you think Democratic policies were too far left, and that's one of the reasons the city is in the shape it is today?
Not necessarily. I think that we tried everything, and it didn't work. I think what happens is that we got to understand it didn't work. That's the problem. So there's some people that you keep doing the same thing over and again. That's insanity.
Yeah.
And if it's not working, you got to change it up.
Okay.
That's the main reason why I'm running. I said, look, I've been working in the city for a while. I've been in politics for a while. I see what's wrong, and we got to change it up. We got to fix it.
Do you think just like common sense is out of the window?
I think common sense has not come in anymore. I think that's our biggest problem. That if we think that something is common, like, okay, there's a person on the street that's not mentally stable. Like, do we just want to leave him there to become someone else's problem till he kills somebody? Like, that's not common sense. We got to make sure that we take care of it now, or else someone's going to be hurt.
Yeah, because it happens all the time. I mean, literally people just who have mental health issues in LA, downtown, for instance, Skid Row. When Mayor Villaraigosa was here, I asked him that question. I said, Skid Row has been around forever. Forever. Everybody knows about it. Everybody knows what's going on over there. The police don't police there. Why can't we get rid of it? I mean, that's just a simple question. If you know there's a massive problem and you let it stay there for decades, literally for decades, and that small problem causes many other major problems.
Yeah.
You know, how do we get rid of, for instance, Skid Row? I mean,
yeah. When I was younger, I used to go to downtown a lot just to go to the little shopping mart, go to Santee Alley, and just get out of there because downtown was dangerous. And Skid Row was 1 block. And now it's like 10 blocks. Now it's growing. You're 100% right. I think that we have a lot of service providers at Skid Row, and a lot of people now gravitate to those service providers. Now they're expanding, but it's becoming bigger and bigger.
Besides that, it's affecting local real estate as well. I mean, those commercial building property values have shrunk massively. You know, they used to be in the millions of dollars. I mean, I don't want to say a square footage number, but, you know, an average building, let's say if it was $1 million, now it's worth $500,000. You know, it lost value in $500,000 over the years, which is an incredible amount. And that's very, very close also to the fashion district, right?
Very, next door.
Where a lot of businesses are operating, a lot of, you know, merchants go there to purchase, you know, whatever they want to purchase, you know, make hats, you know, like you have a friend who makes hats, for example, or I know people who are in the clothing business. You know, they make clothes over there. They sell clothes over there. They fear of going to work. You know, they're fearful of going, you know, in a certain clothes or wear a watch or I don't know, wear any type of jewelry. And that's just making the city worse and worse day by day, and that's a massive concern. And I hope when you get into office, you can be one of those advocates, you know, cleaning up house, because that's what I think we need. We need Democrats. You know, it's also almost impossible for a Republican to get elected to LA City Council, right?
Yeah. So
but anyways, I wanna hear your take on something else. So there's this notion going around of expanding council seats. What's your take on that?
I support it. I think that. So just to put perspective, New York is the biggest city in the United States. They have over 60 council members. They call them elder members. They have over 60. We have 15. We're the second biggest city, and we only have 15. 15 people governing the second biggest city and probably the most powerful cities in the world. It's just not enough. Like,
I just want to interject, and I'm sorry for doing so. New York, I think, has a 10 million population. I think.
Yeah, a little over,
right?
Almost twice as much as us. Yeah.
No, can you go, Tom? Can you pull up New York's population? We have about 3 million people.
4.
How many million is it, Tom? Oh, there you go. 9 million almost. 9 million people, 2020 census. We have almost 4 million. So it's more than double. So
Yeah.
is that the reason why they need more, council reps?
Yeah, we represent almost 300,000 people, and my biggest, like, I look at the city of Glendale. City of Glendale is governed great. The city's beautiful. Businesses are flourishing, and it has about 50,000 to 100,000 people, and it's governed by 5 people. So if you divide 5 into 50,000, each people govern 10 to 20,000 people. That's pretty good. For us, we were governing 300,000 people. That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Right next to us, we have Huntington Park. It's about, I think, 50,000 people as well. You have 5 council members, 10,000 people. And you have all these cities that are flourishing, that are doing well, when the city of LA is kind of being left behind. And I know it takes away my power as a council member, but I'm okay with that because it's not about power. It's about making sure to do what's right for the people. And if we add, I think we want to add about 25 seats. So add an extra 10. That basically is going to split every district in half a little bit more. But it's good because I think you get to focus more on a district that you have oversight over. I think they get to know the representative a little bit better, who they are, what the services they provide. But I think it's good. It's good for the city to expand.
Is the rest of the council on board or no?
I would guess they're not. I would guess that they don't want to lose power. So
what is that about power at the end?
Yeah, and some council members do a good job. Some councils do a good job in their district. They're like, why would I be punished if I'm doing a good job? If my district's clean and it's fine, why would I be punished? So I don't know. But my district as a whole, and me personally, I think that we need to divide our power a little bit more. Give people better opportunities to have more council members to be represented, but I support it.
Do you think in some way, shape, or form that would also reduce the risk of corruption in city politics?
Yeah,
I think you have more council members.
Yeah, because if you have more council members, first you have less power, which is good. Always in general to have to divide the power. We have separation of powers, and then in the council we have a strong council president. So it would take if we get to 21, it would take 12 council members.
Is it still Krikorian?
Marquise now.
Oh, okay. Krikorian is out?
Yeah, he's out. He termed out. Now it's Dreen, the Nazarian that took over.
Yeah. No, but Krikorian was the council president, right? Okay, and then Adrien got elected.
Yeah, Adrien got elected, but the new council president became Marquise.
Got it.
Marquise Harris-Dawson.
Okay.
But yeah, I support it. I think it helps with transparency. I think people get to know who their council member is. Imagine right now we have 300,000 people by one council member. Imagine 150,000 people by one council member. I think people have a better opportunity to elect good people to be representative.
What's your take on the scandal a few years ago with Nero Martinez?
To me, it was personal because some things were said on there. I'm Oaxacan. They said they were short and ugly.
You're actually the quite opposite. You're very tall and good looking.
Thank you. But my first thought, I was like, man, to me, it was a joke. It's like they were joking about me, and I was like, it's messed up. It's coming, but it was a private conversation between them. It shouldn't have happened. 100%. They shouldn't have been talking about this. But it tells us what different politicians talk behind closed doors, which should not happen. And I think I respect some of the council members because they said, hey, I'm leaving. And some apologized for what they said. But I think it was handled correctly because some apologize and we can't, we got to accept people's apologies once in a while. People make mistakes. Nobody's perfect, especially in government. We make a lot of mistakes. But it was a scandal that kind of affected the Latino community more than anybody because we lost the council president. It was the first Latina council president we ever had. And eventually we lost 2 seats, but Latino community was kind of more embarrassed that this is going on. But it just teaches us that first we got to be mindful of what we're saying. We got to make sure we respect everybody, all communities, including African-American community, the Armenian community that was said, the Oaxacan community, indigenous community that was said. I think we learned a lot from this. But yeah, it's something that happened that was not a happy time in the city of LA.
Is that something common in private politics where they discuss districting and redistricting and how to manipulate seats and rotate seats?
No, not really. I don't think it's common. I think that was just an opportunity because the tapes were like hours and hours of tapes. But they found that certain conversation, and they amplified that. So I don't think it's common.
For instance, people running for office. I'm bringing you an example. I don't know. I don't know if you heard this, but apparently, well, not apparently, Alex Padilla is going to run for governor, right?
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah. So I mean, that's the word on the street, that Alex Padilla is going to run for governor, and Newsom is going to run for Senate, and they're going to swap seats. I mean, that just tells me how organized politics is. They say organized crime. I say this is organized politics. Is that something that happens, in common or commonly in politics in general in LA or in California?
No, I think a lot of people like to think that oh, everything's a setup, this and that, but I don't think it does. I think that, like, you take, for instance, me. I worked on different political campaigns. And it was just a friend that said, "Hey, I want to run for office," and then he made allies with different elected officials, and eventually he won, or he didn't win. But it starts from just somebody waking up one day and say, "Hey, I'm going to run for office. I'm going to do good for the community." I don't think you get chosen for this. First of all, not a lot of people are like, "Oh, he got chosen to do this. He got chosen." It's not that. You really need to believe in what you want to do. So if Alex Padilla wants to be governor, he really probably believes he wants to be governor. And yes, maybe he talked to the people and seen their thoughts, but I don't think he gets chosen. Like,
no, I'm not saying chosen, but don't you think both of them like had a private conversation? Hey, you support me, I support you. You get to Senate, I get to govern, and then when I become governor, I'm going to run for president one day, maybe.
I don't think so. I think that's I don't know. I just don't think so.
We're going to have the Olympics here, okay, and that's a massive deal for the city. I think LA is a third or fourth world city. That's my opinion. Okay, even though I love this city, I grew up in the county, or in Glendale and Burbank and Tahunga, Sunland area, which is also a city of LA. And I think this city just should be a world-class city. And by the time the Olympics comes here, do you think we'll have a chance, you being on the council and other new council members possibly, to turn it around and make it as pretty and as normal, as beautiful, as human as possible? Especially with the new, I think, $2.6 billion convention center that we're going to try to build.
Yeah. I think LA is beautiful. I think we have some downfalls right now. We're down on our luck once in a while, but the majority it's beautiful. Like, I was in Little Tokyo the other day, and I saw a big diverse community in Little Tokyo. I saw Latinos, African Americans, Japanese, Koreans, Caucasians, just all intermingling. And this is LA. This is what I love. And then there's homeless people around, and I was like, hey, this is LA that I fell in love with. And yeah, there's certain parts of the city that are not as best as other parts of the city, but we can get there, because if people are still coming here and they want to come here, I think the Olympics is going to attract a lot of people. A lot of businesses are starting to open up now, starting to get ready for the Olympics, and they're like, hey, I want to have my business flourishing, to make sure when the Olympics does come, people from all over the world visit my product or go to my restaurant or visit my store, whatever it is. We are going to get ready for the Olympics. I think that when the convention center is an example of it. The convention center is a $2.7 billion investment, which we don't have the money for. We didn't have the money for at all. But you as a business owner, you know that we got to spend money to make money. And a lot of the council thought, majority of the council felt like, hey, if we don't do this, we're never going to do this. If we don't invest $2.7 billion in the convention center, we're never going to do it. We're going to have a 30-year-old convention center that we lose Comic-Con to, we lose Anime-Con to. I think Anime does come. We lose all the big conventions. They don't come to LA anymore.
We just have the LA Auto Show.
We have the LA Auto Show. It's just cool. No hit on the. I love that. Actually, I was there not too long ago. But we lose it to Anaheim, lose it to San Diego, lose it to second-class cities compared to Los Angeles, and that's embarrassing. And when they said, look, we can't afford it, so the first thing we did, the biggest thing that the convention center has are these giant billboards that people were not too happy about. These LCD electronic billboards that are going to be right off the 110 freeway and the 10 freeway. You're going to see them. It's going to be like New York now. You know, when you're in New York, Times Square, you see the billboards everywhere.
Electronic billboards.
And they've been there for 50 years.
Yeah.
In LA, we're so behind.
That's what I'm saying. We're third world city.
We're so behind. We finally thought about putting the billboards.
That's the new convention center, by the way. I mean, that's the design, right?
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
But we're gonna have these giant billboards. We're gonna face the freeway. That's gonna bring us income into $30 million a year. That's like, just imagine those. It's gonna be two. Just imagine billboards all around. Imagine you come to LA Live area, which is in our district on Figueroa.
LA Live is beautiful, by the way. It's very clean.
To us, it's like it's another world.
Yeah.
They have their own ambassadors program that they clean up the districts. It's another world. But that's what we want the whole city to look like.
But this question arises to me. You know, when Xi Jinping came to San Francisco, they cleaned up those streets in a minute. You know, because the foreign leader, especially a special leader of China, you know, is coming down to an area where there's a lot of Chinese immigrants as well. You know, Newsom made sure that place is immaculate. It's clean. It's beautiful. If they can do that within a week or two, that tells me that if the state, the city, or the county, if they want to do that in their district, they can do it. It's just, is it the bureaucracy that's stopping them? What's stopping them? You know, I mean, if there is a bureaucracy and it's stopping them, how come there was no bureaucracy when they cleaned up San Francisco so quickly?
San Francisco is a different animal. I think we have 4 years to do it. We have 4 years to get ready for the Olympics. It's 2028. We're starting now. We're having the best sanitation. LA sanitation is the best in the country. They're starting to staff up. Starting to have to hire more employees. They're starting to focus on areas that normally they don't focus on. Especially in our district, which is the Olympics is going to be hosted in the LA Coliseum. The first time in the world, ever in the world, that the Olympics has been hosted 3 times in the same location. I think 1930s, 1980s, and then now.
What, can you look up, Tom, when the Olympics were held at the Coliseum?
1932, 1984, and now 2028. So the first time the Coliseum is going to be hosting Olympics, and now we get to
32, 84. There you go. And now 28. So first time in any place
in the world,
that the Olympics are going to be held at the same place for 3 times.
Yes, and that's a big deal to me because there's right next to the Coliseum, there's an Olympic pool. That Olympic pool, my wife learned to swim there because she grew up in South LA. We don't have pools, but we go to the local pool and learn how to swim. And she learned how to swim there. Very few kids from South LA know how to swim because we don't have pools, but my wife learned how to swim. Now that we have a 2-year-old, guess who's teaching my 2-year-old how to swim? My wife. And if it wasn't for that Olympic pool that was built in 1932 and in 1984, we renovated, my wife would have never learned how to swim. She would never taught my daughter how to swim. And it would have been, that's just something small. But I imagine having that in South LA, saying, hey, I learned how to swim here because the Olympics came into town. They built a pool in my community. And now I'm teaching my kids how to swim. That's amazing. That's like what I want to hear, a story about the Olympics.
Speaking of kids and teaching, how do we fix our public schools here in LA, which is also another massive problem?
I think the biggest thing, they need more funding. I think when I was in school, public schools, I went to public schools my entire life. We had, for every 20 to 30 students, we had 1 teacher. Now it's 30 plus per teacher. I don't think teachers get paid enough. I think if we paid teachers more, I think people would want to become a teacher. My wife's a teacher. She became a teacher because she felt that the only reason she got out of poverty is because of her teachers that she had. And she teaches at the same school that she went to in South LA. And she doesn't want to leave. She wants to stay there because she said, hey, I teach some of these kids. It could have been me 30 years ago. But teachers don't get paid enough.
Do you think that's something possible to happen in LA, to pay teachers, I don't know, like $100,000 salary?
Yeah, I think it is. It's just up to us, up to politicians, up to us. Like
is that something you can vote on?
Not on the city council, but on the LESD board, we can make sure they have the full funding from the federal government to make sure. So I see it like the most important people in your life are your doctor, your lawyer, and your teacher. Mm-hmm. But compare salaries, they're not even comparable. A teacher makes a tenth of what a doctor or lawyer makes. So most people, when you grow up, I don't want to be a teacher anymore. Like, I want to be a doctor or a lawyer. And so you have a lot of people not joining the teaching force, which is a big issue. Also, a lot of parents My community, we have a lot of parents that are absent parents that don't know if their kid's doing his homework, don't know this. Like I was lucky that my parents are always there and make sure I did my homework, make sure that they went
What
to
do you
this.
mean when you say absent parent? What do you
My
mean by
parents
that?
have to go to work. They work from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Both parents. You
Both
mean. I
parents,
see.
and it's immigrant communities. We have that a lot, but then a lot of kids don't know if their kids are doing their homework, if their kids are at home. A lot of kids are raised called latchkey kids. They're raised by TV. They're raised, and that's a big issue for me because the parent needs to be involved in the kid's education always.
Absolutely,
100%. And that's the whole difference. And I always see that the difference between a child being successful in life, how much their parent was involved.
So both of you work, you and your wife.
Yes.
So how are you going to manage that at home when your 2-year-old goes to school?
Once it gets
She's
certain,
working.
when it gets a certain age, I think my wife's going to take some time off and raise her to the best that she can. We've talked about this. I think that it's necessary sometimes, that especially so we can afford it. A lot of people can't, but we can. I want my wife to be there for my daughter as much as I can, because I'm not going to be able to be there as much as I can. I'm going to be working for my community, but also I got to be a father. So I'm going to try to balance both.
Do you think LA needs the National Guard like Chicago, like DC, to improve its city and crime and, and just overall domestic, obedience towards local government?
No, not at all.
Not at all.
It's first, the National Guard, for reasons like that, has to do with immigration. They to me, like I told you before, immigrants are not the problem. Criminals are the problem, not immigrants. And immigrants and criminals does not go together. I'm an immigrant myself. I don't know one immigrant who came to the United States said, "Hey, I'm going to come here to commit a crime." That's not how it works. They came to this country for a better life, to raise their family for different reasons, but never to commit crimes. Now, they live here, and if they committed a crime because they've been here for a while and whatever it was, that's something separate. That's something that they came here for good reasons, and they ended up for some bad reasons. That's some separate. But sending National Guard is, to me, it's like a state of emergency. I guess if we're in a state of emergency, something happens, send a National Guard. That's what they're there for. But right now, what they're being used for is for immigration enforcement, which is wrong.
What about immigrants who were criminals in their countries and they immigrated here and they are still committing crimes?
So criminals, so I think
Who are
they
illegal.
illegal criminals that committed a crime need to go to jail here in the United States. I don't want to deport them. There's a bunch of reasons why. If you deport a criminal like we did to MS-13, you send them back to El Salvador, then you turn that country into a criminal country. And for about 15 to 10 years, that country was full of criminals. When I went to go visit for government purposes, I had a whole military force following me around, and it was scary. And I just went about 6 months ago, and it just totally turned around.
Isn't that great, though?
It is, but why did it have to take that to happen? Like, why couldn't the country stay clean and stay happy? And why did
they had a common sense president come in who was a mayor of San Salvador,
right?
And he became a president, and this is his second term, and he's just killing it. It's the safest city in Latin America right now.
Yeah, Bukele.
Yeah,
95% of the people voted for that guy.
Yeah,
he just got rid of term limits, and people are like, "Why are you supporting him?" To me, that's what the country needed. It makes sense. We messed up that country. That MS-13 was created in MacArthur Park.
It was, yeah.
It was created here in the United States. It wasn't created in El Salvador. But we took that gang and we deported them all to another country where they probably haven't been there in years, and then they turned that country around. So that country said, "Look, we're tired of this. We're going to vote for someone that's going to take public safety as serious. Anybody who," I remember when I came in 6 months ago, they checked if I had any tattoos. And I was okay with it, but some people that do have tattoos, they had to take pictures of them. What's that mean? Are you part of an affiliated with any gang? That's kind of scary.
So would you mind if this city was cleaned up in that way?
No, I wouldn't mind. I don't want someone taking pictures of tattoos and stuff.
No. Forget the tattoos. Would you like it if LA was as clean as San Salvador or El Salvador as a country?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. If you visit that country, it's beautiful. Of course, I'd love this LA to be clean and safe like every other city. Yeah, 100%.
I mean, that was my question, because our local politicians are unable to clean up the city, starting from, this mayor, the previous mayor, And if you said this is the second largest city in the union,
Yeah, in the
and
United
it's one
States.
of the most important cities in the country, after New York.
Right.
I say New York is the financial capital of America, or maybe the world, and this is the entertainment capital of the world.
Yeah.
And a lot of crime is resisting businesses like the entertainment industry to stay here, for example, or small businesses to stay here, or big businesses to stay here. A lot of businesses are moving out, and crime is one of the major reasons. So that's what I was trying to say. If you have, I don't literally mean to have the National Guard come and patrol the cities or police the city, but why can't we have a Nayib Bukele mindset and you just get rid of crime like this? Like I was saying, if you can clean up San Francisco within 10 days for a foreign leader, why can't you clean up the city for your own residents?
The El Salvador is a very small country compared. I think LA is bigger than El Salvador, the whole country of El Salvador. So he, as a president, took control and had the armed forces from El Salvador start searching everybody, go through towns and clean up one by one. And I don't want that to happen to LA. I think we need to fix it, but not like that. Not where we have the army coming in and fixing us one by one, because there's a lot of casualties to there. If you look at in El Salvador, a lot of reporters have been killed because they say, hey, look, this is unjust. Reporters have been accused of stopping the government, conspiracy against the government. I don't want to turn LA to that. I think we are not there yet, where our crime has gone through the roof. I think our crime's getting a little bit better. You're reading me stats to me earlier. But we do need to go a little harder on crime.
I think the stats were maybe a little bit cherry-picked, because of recent immigration raids. A lot of people don't, call in crime. They don't call the police. And that just gives better stats to the city.
I agree, 100%. I was telling you a story that you get a catalytic converter stolen, you call the police, they won't come down. They'll tell you, come in and file a police report. And nobody does that anymore.
Speaking of police, we love the police, right? But they're not really policing. Is it, and I know it's due to a lot of staffing, and they get to choose which call to, put an emergent call for, Right. Mm-hmm. But I'll bring you an example. This happened to me. I am in the federal building, 1000 Wilshire, okay? And I get a call that one of my ambulances was stolen, okay, from Inglewood. And then I call the police because we have GPS, right? We have GPS, we have cameras, it's live feed, okay? And I call the police, and the police, and then they tell me which city, which jurisdiction. I say Inglewood. Okay, so they transfer me to Inglewood PD. Yeah, so I talk to Inglewood PD. I say, from this address, this is the description of the individual. He is on this street right now. Okay, give me a second. And then they put you on, literally on hold, and you hear hold music. You call the cops. And then they answer. By the time they answer, this guy is on a freeway. Okay? I say, he's on this freeway. Okay, now we got to transfer it to CHP. It's not a jurisdiction anymore.
The 105.
I'm like, you kidding me? So yeah, you got to call CHP. We're going to transfer to CHP. So I get to CHP. I have to say the exact same story again. Okay? Mm-hmm. So I say the exact same story again. And then this guy exits off the 105. He's in LA. Okay? And then they transfer me to LAPD. And then I did the same thing again. I have to, like, dude, this guy is on this street with this van, this license plate, have a live feed exactly what's going on in the vehicle, okay? Can you call somebody to get my van, He goes back on the freeway again. Anyways, I'm going to make this short. And then he goes back to LA. Finally, I said, there's a potential patient inside the vehicle, okay? Because the vehicle was stolen from a dialysis center in Inglewood. Right? Mm-hmm. And if there is a potential patient in the vehicle, that means
kidnapping.
Exactly. Right? So then LAPD shows up, and obviously the guy's already gone. He ransacked my vehicle. He tore the camera out. But that's what I don't get. If I'm telling you right on the spot, like you were telling me somebody was stealing your catalytic converter right in front of your eyes, and you're telling me, hey, is this guy, this description, this driver, this license plate, I doubt they even caught the guy, right?
No.
Exactly. So what's the point? Why would anybody call the police? Only for murder and then for them to show up after the fact?
Yeah.
That's another problem the city is having constantly with policing, and not only policing, with emergency services. You call paramedics. Again, they choose which call to go to, you know, and that's something else that has to be brought up. You know, as a council member, possibly, I don't know, a mayor down the line, you know, that has to be fixed. Don't you think so?
Absolutely. The biggest problem is that we don't have enough police force. Our police force is pretty low right now. So if they look at the tier of calls that you're getting, if you're calling, hey, this guy's gunshots, he has a gun, they're coming right away. This guy's been kidnapped, they're coming. But if they're telling, hey, my car's been stolen, they're going to put it on the lower tier.
Yeah.
If they had enough police force, a big enough police force to cover that, they would, but they just don't. So that's the first thing is I want to make sure that we hire up. And some of the reasons why I want to hire, I said, look, if you are a police officer and you live in the city of LA, you should get a bonus because you live within the city of LA, the city that you work in. You probably appreciate the city more. You love what you do. If you live outside the city of LA, then that's you should. I'm not saying you should not get a bonus, but I want to hire more officers that live within our city limits. It's something really important to me.
I hope your district revitalizes. You have beautiful parks. You have people making shitload of money. You know, the Latino community, the Black community, whoever is there. I hope people start businesses over there. You have very little crime. I know it's impossible to have no crime, but that is my wish to you. And I hope it happens, and I hope it happens to the city because, like you said, you're not the type of a guy to run away from a problem. You're the type of a guy to come here and fix problems and, you know, live in this beautiful city. And I want to thank you for that. And thank you for coming again. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Tom. I respect you 1,000% because you keep us on our toes. You make sure that when we say something, you come back. Hey, you said this, you said that. You have statistics to prove it. We need people like you in the city.
Thank you, brother.
To keep us to make sure our city thrives, and that's how we're going to thrive together.